Welcome everybody to the Ubuntu Giving podcast by the GivingTuesday Africa Hub. I will be your host today. My name is Beth Wanyoro. Today we are joined by an amazing woman, a lady who has given out her life to serve the community around her, from the Kalenjin land with her grandmother to coming to Nairobi, and which is the capital city of Kenya, to impacting society, to impacting young people. And it's going to be an amazing ride with you, Lucy, and with our listeners as we join in to know how do we become champions of giving in our communities, in our everyday life. So karibu sana. My listeners, please give a round of applause to Lucy. Yay! Whoop, 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 whoop. Welcome, Lucy.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. Welcome to the
Asante.
Ubuntu Giving podcast. We are excited to have you on board. Please introduce yourselves and tell us who you are, what you do, and also a bit of what do you do for fun.
Oh, okay. So who I am first, I guess. I am an African woman. I'm a Christian, and I'm a happy person. I like being happy and smiling a lot. What do I do? That was the second question, yeah? So
Yeah.
I am the co-founder and executive director of Good Kenyan Foundation. Good Kenyan is a non-profit that works with young people who've just cleared high school as they transition from high school to the next step of their life. We have a 3-month program that we take them through the 3-month program to support them during that transition, and also to offer mentorship for them even beyond the program. And once they left Good Kenyan, they should be able to transition at least to college and university, and if they're not able to, find entry-level jobs or start a small business, basically so that they are not idle. They're able to be guided around their career choices. What do you really want to do? And for those who did not get it, we sometimes become a very academic society that we forget about people who may not excel academically, but they do have some talents. And because of the backgrounds that they come from, they're not able to really figure out what their talents are. So we really help them find out what they can do, what they're good at, what they can excel at, and how they can find make an income through that. So that's particularly what we do for the 3 months at Good Kenyan. And finally, what I like to do for fun. I like to watch rugby. So I'm sad that the World Cup is over. I'm a South African fan. I'm a box fan. What else do I like to do? Nowadays, I don't know, because I think work has taken my life. When I was younger, there were so many other things I could do, yeah. But then I also just like to curl with a glass of wine and a good book.
Great. So before we jump into the conversation today, we are from different cultures. Yes. And as you know, this is an African hub podcast. So I don't know if you've done Animal Kingdom, where I say start and stop, and then you pick a letter in between. Anyway, we have 21 questions. Every day is a learning day.
Yes, it is.
We have 21 questions that I'd want you to pick a number between 1 and 21, and I will ask you the question.
Okay, between 1 and 21.
Yeah.
I'll pick number 1 first.
Oh, wow, okay. So the first question is, if you had one superpower that could make this world a better place or save our world, what would it be?
I think if I had a superpower, I would want it to be a power I can equalize everyone. Like, we are equal. No one feels smaller than the other.
Yeah.
We all have the same opportunity, so that if you're not hardworking, if you're lazy, then it's your problem. But right now it's very unbalanced. There's so many factors that, especially like just being born in Africa, is already a problem, because there are too many other things that are against you. Then imagine being born. Me, I was born in the rural parts of Kenya, being a rural girl, being a woman. So I would really like just to equalize in terms of opportunities, in terms of things that people can do. That would be my superpower. I'd be very happy.
Great. You have another opportunity to choose another number.
Another number, wow. I'm such a choleric, so let's go for number 2.
Okay. Number 2, what act of generosity have you received that you've never forgotten?
Wow. I think for me, the one that I've never forgotten is that one of the mothers of the young people that we served, he had just cleared a program, a 3-month program, and was going to college and actually got a scholarship through our connection. And the mother lived in Kangemi, and she walked from Kangemi to come and say thank you. And she gave
Wow.
me 200 Kenya shillings. And I think that was the most precious 200 Kenya shillings that we received at Good Kenyan. This was like, this is, do something with this. And just to learn that she works so that she can save the money so that she can give to us, for me was the utmost act of generosity when someone give when they don't even have.
Yeah. And to give context, from Kangemi to Ngumo,
Yes,
that's a distance.
it's a
That's
distance.
probably
Yeah.
20 plus kilometers. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So it's what we say in Giving Tuesday is everybody, no matter who you are, you have something that you can give.
Absolutely.
So I can only imagine what impact that had on you without her knowing that she had such a great impact. Her
Yeah.
being just saying thank you.
Just coming to say thank you was enough. Like I was like, not many say thank you. So just coming
Yeah.
to say thank you, making time to come and say thank you, and then offering me money, and it's the money you don't really have.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Wow.
And I had
Wow.
to honor her for accepting it as much as maybe I could do without it, but I had to honor her and accept it.
Yeah. Because that was the only way she knew how to say thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow. So thank you for that, Lucy. And
Mm.
we'll jump right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Could you share with us the story of how did Good Kenyan Foundation come into existence? The mission
Mm-hmm.
in championing the Giving Champions activation.
Okay. So how Good Kenyan came about was several factors led to it. Just growing up, seeing my grandmother giving back to our community. My grandmother, I think, was the first generous person that I knew. Our home always had people with different needs. And when I was younger, I couldn't really understand what she was doing. And I remember at one point, my aunties and uncles, my mom, they would really be like, "You give too much. You're giving too much time. You're doing this." But I think she really thrived in that. And then I didn't understand, and now I totally understand.
Yeah.
So that, I think, planted a seed in me. There was also something about giving back. I also learned from that process because people would come for school fees, people will come for medical bills, people will come even for land injustices. And I learned
Yeah.
during that time and spending a lot of time with my grandmother was that we had at least more than someone else. And it was our duty to share and to give. And I think that it was imprinted in me for a very long time. Then years later,
Yeah.
I lost my mother when I was in high school. I think there's a shift that happens when you lose your mother. Being an African daughter, being a firstborn, I literally just moved from being an adolescent girl fighting with my mother to now being a mother, literally, of my siblings. My last born sister was 16 years old. Sorry, it was 6 months old. Now she's
Wow.
26. I said 26 or
Good
27
job.
even, I forget her
Good
age.
job on
So
that.
yeah, so she was 6 months old. So that really was such an impact in my life because I did have my grandmother to provide for me. So I can never say I lacked the basic needs. I had also my aunties, and my family came together. My dad,
Yeah.
not very present, but he did also come through. But then I was, there's something I needed more than just that. And people were busy with their families. My grandmother didn't know better. Like I felt like I would tell her some things and she's never heard about it. And you can imagine she was not young, she was old, raised in rural parts of Kenya. I mean, some of these things were a bit strange to her. Like, what do I want to do
Yeah.
for a living? What career do I want and everything? And I think when I finished high school, I felt the gap even more because then I felt like yes, I can go for anywhere I want to go, but do I really know where I want to go? Then I really used to have a lot of free time. So I came to Nairobi, like every parent in Eldoret sends their child to Nairobi. I came to stay with an uncle. here in Nairobi, and his family. And I used to do computer classes and French. And
That is every Kenyan uh, high school graduate.
exactly, post high school. But now I learned privileged Kenyan post high school graduate, because
Okay.
not everyone else has that opportunity. ICDL then was about what, 15,000? Not many people
Yeah.
could do, but then I used to do ICDL, I used to do French. In the morning, I've given pocket money, but I had a lot of idle time.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time. We would go around that Nairobi center. We'll go back and forth. We'll do what? Because, yeah, my dad will throw a call once in a while. People are busy. And I just saw other people doing things. And maybe for me, because I was already a parent, I was a bit responsible. So I saw so many things happening and people really being led. Like someone is taking a matatu, they go to where, to whose house for a day party and that kind of a thing. And for me, it really felt like, if my mom was here, she would really be monitoring my steps. I also had friends who their mom would call them, "Mepika wapi, where are you?" Sorry,
Yeah.
for the non-Swahili speakers. And then now, that's again something else that was inputted in my brain. Then I started working. So went to college, then I came back, I started working, and I started mentoring at Akilidad. Actually, I used to be a mentor at Akilidad, and we'll go to different high
Shout out
schools.
to Akili Dada.
I know Akilidad really wherever my mentorship thing. So
I'm
I
also
went
an
to,
alumni to one of their programs.
good
Yeah.
stuff, really good. So I used to do the high schooler program. I used to go to different high schools and mentor, and this was on my free
Yeah.
time. This is what I used to do on my Saturdays. And I would speak to different girls because we go to different schools. That was
Yeah.
when there's also, I felt like, okay, this is really working good in school, but when they leave school, who follows through? What happens to them? Because in school there are teachers, there are people to follow up, but what happens after school? So
Yeah.
that's another part again. I worked in corporate Kenya, left corporate Kenya and started a business. I started a business, was a gift business. So many at times our Christmas holidays were the most busy time. So during this
Yeah.
time of our Christmas holidays, would need a lot of what do you call temporary staff. I would then ask someone, please get me. So I asked one of our cleaning ladies to get me some young people to come
Yeah.
and help. And I realized they're fast, they're good. I was working with them. But then you pay them on Friday, on Monday, they are broke. They don't have anything. You ask them, what did you do with the money? I bought this. Oh, me, I did this. Me, I took someone for a date. They didn't have that financial planning or personal planning. They didn't really know what they want to do. And then also, I asked them like, okay, so you finished high school. What do you want to do? It's like, oh, I wanted to be a lawyer, but I didn't get the right grade to be a lawyer, so I don't even know.
Yeah.
And some of them don't even think about it because they're like, my parents have no money for school fees. I am just going to go to what they're doing. Basically, I'm going to go to work with my dad in the morning. And that now was like the final for like, okay, God is speaking to me here. In terms of like, there's something I can do to these people. Not everyone, but there's a few that I can do. Then we met with Humphrey. We'd been friends for a very long time. And he was almost retiring for his rugby career. And he kept saying he doesn't know what he wants to do. He's trying to find out what his legacy is. Does he want to be a coach? Does he want to go to sports administration? It was a time for him that was an uncertain time. It was a transition time for him. And I remember just seeing how difficult that was. And I told him, you have a name. Why don't you use it?
Yeah.
And we then sat down and thought, okay, let's do a program together. Naively, let's just do something. And then now we started thinking about it. We started reaching out to our friends. And now that's how I learned about the impact of people giving their time. Growing up, sometimes we just think giving is money. But then we started reaching out to different experts in different fields and people who will say, I'll help you do the curriculum. A friend of ours called Chris was like, I'll do for you the curriculum for entrepreneurship. Because that's what he's an expert on. Someone else is like, one day I even called an organization to ask if they had a curriculum for life skills for young people. And this lady, I kept calling, she said, there's something we're developing, but they were never finished. And then she told me one day, what do you really need? And we met and talked and we've worked with her since then.
Wow.
So we put together the program just like that, but I don't know how we thought it will run. I thought I'll still do my job and do this on the side. I don't even know. I just had, I could only see just 100 meters away. I couldn't see beyond it, but all I knew is I wanted
impact
to.
that you would have.
Yes, I just knew that I wanted to help a young person who is very uncertain when they finish high school, and especially a young person from a background that may not be able to afford to pay anything for them. I wanted to
Yeah.
help them, bring my friends who are experts in different careers to help them navigate that. I wanted them to learn something how they can make money while they're in the program, because a lot of them are now told you have to take care of your household, or you don't have money to take you to college. Some of them are even living on their own. So this
Yeah.
young person, that cycle of poverty continues, because then immediately they start making money for today. What do?
Mm.
They go to what we call in Kenya kibarua.
Yeah.
What
Casual
happens?
laborers.
Casual laborer means that you earn for that day, you spend for that day, and you continue like that. But then now here we are telling them, okay, today you have to make something because your stomach is rumbling, right? This is
Yeah.
how you can make something for today. But I would like you to divide your time into two, where you're making something for today and you're also
Yeah.
working for the future. What courses do you
Mm.
need to go? What do you need to put away for your future, so that your future can be different from your present or that of your parents? And that's
Yeah.
basically how Good Kenyan came together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just two friends coming together to impact and mentor and hold another
Yes.
young person's hands. And as you're speaking, it got me. You talked about how your friend gave the curriculum for entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Another person came in and gave, give and giving are very words that keep on coming. I don't know if it's because it's the Ubuntu Giving podcast,
Uh-huh.
but how have you, as even you've continued, because Good
Mm-hmm.
Kenyan has been in existence since 2017.
Yes.
That's not uh, that's not a little time
I
in
know we're
being
going
in
to our seventh
existence.
year.
Happy 7 years,
No, 7 years
the
is in
impact
April.
is been
Yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
April.
Yes.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yes. Amen.
Um, how have you managed to foster that culture of giving, despite you being coming from a background that used to give, bringing these different people together and
Mm-hmm.
fostering the culture of giving, even beyond just you as the leadership, but also within the young people that are coming for your program?
Okay, so one of the things that I think I learned very quickly when I started with Kenyan was I needed to ask. That's one of the most difficult things to ask and to
Yeah,
receive, because sometimes somehow you think you're self-sufficient. I don't know. So we started asking a lot. I remember our
yeah.
first launch, for us to launch, because once we did our Excel, we're like, we do not have this money, we cannot start this program, And a friend of
What
mine,
is the Excel? Excel is the
like when we said
program.
we did our maths, like our budget.
Okay,
I'm saying
okay,
we had this Excel sheet that me and my used to look at it every day, and we're like, we can't afford this. We are punching way
okay.
above our weight.
Yeah.
Then one day I was just with a friend of mine, because I'd speak to anyone who cares to listen about what I want to do, what I plan to do. And some of them
Mm.
didn't even understand what I'm saying. I was just like, okay, she's just rambling. I don't know what she's saying. Then a friend of mine challenged me and told me, why can't you just start? I have very many friends, and I have very good friends. I have always been
Yeah.
blessed with very good friends. I have friends from my primary school. I'm that person who just gathers people as I go. So my
Uh-huh.
pal challenged me and told me, you have very many friends. Humphrey is some form of celebrity. He's been the rugby captain for the Kenya team. He has some form of following. Why can't you put up an event? My friend, her name is Sylvia. She's in the event industry. She was like, I'll give you tables, chairs, I'll give you decor.
Yeah.
So this is the first on giving. And she's like, and you also have other friends in the event industry. So I have a friend of mine as always very close to me called Melissa. She's like, I'll give you tents. I have pergola tents. I'll give you tents. So just find a
Yeah.
venue. You have the event ready. A friend of mine called Chemtai was like, I will coordinate the event for you because she's a planner. So
Mm.
Chemtai coordinated the event for us. And we just started putting together by people just saying, I'll give this, I'll do this, I'll do this. Other people are like, I'll advertise for you. I'll do this for you. Someone did for us our logo. Someone was like, I'll do for you the print work. It was just
Yeah.
people coming together, giving, and we launched. And once we launched, people got to know about us. Then we started looking for the young people. the first cohort, Humphrey and I literally just uh, financed it from ourselves because we done an event. Yes, we were
Yeah.
given most of the items, but you still have to pay for food. There are things that you still have to pay for, and we charge people for a ticket. And the people who came, basically, that event just paid itself. So then we needed to
Yeah.
continue. So we had one staff member, a lot of volunteers were giving their time, and then now we started going, and then we'll just chip from our pocket to pay for rent, electricity, utilities. So
Yeah.
how we fostered that, I think first it's just that now we realize we have strength in people, and
Your
there's so much
network.
wealth in the people that we know. So we
Yeah.
realized, okay, how do we? So one of the aspects of the program is mentorship, one-on-one mentorship. So our first
Yeah.
mentors, I don't think even they had a choice. We just told them, you're mentoring, you're mentoring, you're mentoring. We put them to mentor. And then we started
Yeah.
developing that mentorship structure to where it is now, where it's professional, where it's structured, where I don't even know the mentors, personally.
Yeah.
So we just realized that there's a wealth in people and people can give. And people were like, I know how to write, because I didn't even know how to write the proposal. I didn't know the non-profit lingo. Like, I was like, impact, outcome. You people are
Especially
saying the
from
same thing many
from
times.
corporates.
Yes. Me, I would do just for you 3 slides and I show you we make money and we move. So I now got someone who will help me to do that. I put up together a board of friends of mine. I requested them to be an advisory board to just help. And most of the time I was like, okay, you've been in the development sector, you know 1, 2, 3 things. And I started also getting connections. People
Yeah.
were like, oh, there's this event here for this organization, come. And I remember the first time I would go to a room and I know no one.
Mm.
And they're talking like this language that's not English or Swahili. But slowly by slowly,
Language
people,
barrier.
yes, because I don't know, but slowly by slowly, people just gave of themselves. I reached out to so many people. So I've learned to ask, I've learned to
Mm.
receive, and of course, I have just reinforced my belief in giving.
In giving. And
Yeah.
from what you were talking about,
Mhm.
something comes to mind called network mapping, where you just put out the people in your network and what can they give. Is it a skill? Is it a time? Is it resources? And just going by what can you give, approaching someone from a point of, I think you have time, could you
Mhm.
give time in mentoring one person,
Mhm.
and for you to also be open to accepting, because most times we are taught of only giving and we are not taught of receiving when
Receiving,
it
yes.
is our turn to get to to be given to.
Yes.
So that stood out for me. um and in Good Kenyan, there's
Mm-hmm.
something you call a local champion.
Mm-hmm.
You have talked about how you have worked with your friends who have now
Mm-hmm.
become like supporting to
Mm-hmm.
Good Kenyan.
Mm-hmm.
But can you talk to us about what does a local champion in the Good Kenyan lingo?
Mm-hmm.
Now that you have a Good Kenyan lingo.
Yes, now we have a good Kenyan lingo, and we call them. We have friends of good Kenyan.
Mm-hmm.
These are people who it's a community we call upon, mainly made of online community, but also
Oh,
an
wow.
offline community. So we have friends of good Kenyan who will call upon when something happens. These
Yeah.
are made up of mentors, volunteers. They're made up of friends, just people who have given their time, people who've been visited. Then we do then have uh, other people that we've reached out to because of specific strengths that they have.
Yeah.
People who have maybe know a lot of people and that kind of a thing. So we have champions. We call them champions. We call them ambassadors. And because I think we started from a place where we didn't have grants to apply for. We didn't even know how to apply grants. We really
Yeah.
worked on individual giving and local giving, basically Kenyans giving. So
Mm.
because of that, we needed to come up with different campaigns. So I actually put up and said, who wants to be part of a fundraising committee and help? And I have the same people that I work with for a very long time. I mean, that number
Yeah.
just keep increasing, or maybe someone will drop out. But then those are my first champions to me, because we sit
Mm.
down, we come up with these crazy ideas, and we execute them. This is what we're going to
Okay.
do to raise money. Then
Mm.
from that committee, it bore this thing of reaching out to personalities or people with large numbers online. So one of our champions is someone like Dennis Ombachi, who is a an Olympian, a rugby player, and now a self-taught chef. He calls himself Roaming Chef online. And
Yeah.
Ombachi has such a huge following because of he has this specific phrase done, and people seem to like the way he cooks very fast and finishes and does
Done.
done. And he's such a generous human being because whatever we call upon him, he does give of his time. He's able to sit down, plan a campaign, and execute it and give without asking for pay. People pay a lot of money to have Ombachi in their campaigns. So then
Yeah.
we've worked with several personalities. We even have friends. I can give an example of one of our local champions. One of our friends became a mentor in Good Kenyan.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Kefa. After he became a mentor, he now then just he's the one who actually gave his time. He did our website, and he
Mm-hmm.
continues to update our website when you need to. And then the other day he championed us at his organization. So he works for this multinational. They had
Mm-hmm.
a program whereby you can go and pitch at local charity that people can come and volunteer time
Support.
and
Yeah.
volunteer and give money. And he went
Mm-hmm.
and pitches and he was selected. And
Wow.
he rallied his colleagues to come. They came for, imagine the organization was paying for any person who's to volunteer per hour. So if you
Wow.
volunteer 2 hours, 3 hours, the organization was paying us. It was like if any hour volunteered, the organization gave us money.
Wow.
You see, now he was our champion because he went, he called his colleagues, he did what? There's even a time after that, he even invited his friends to play football with the young
Yeah.
people at Good Kenyan. It was amazing. They did a mentorship session. They played football first, then they did a mentorship session. That's
Yeah.
a local champion because
Yeah.
he's in someone else would see those males at a company coming and they would ignore them. It's time. It's a lot
Yeah.
of work. He has to keep. Basically, he has to go to every colleague and pitch to them and
Yeah.
ask them to help vote for Good Kenyan.
Yeah.
That's an amazing champion.
And that's giving of time,
Yes.
because he did not give like financial
Yes.
resources directly, but him leveraging for Good Kenyan, that is using his time, using his human resource, using his network to just build you. And I like that you have different hats for different champions, because again, a human being will give that which to
They have.
a program or a project that sees they see impact happening. Yeah. So that is to also say that Good Kenyan is actually having impact. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I thank God for that. And I think also maybe something to just say on that. I know many people are willing to give. Honestly, that's what I've learned. I've
Yeah.
received from strangers. We've received from strangers, literally.
Yeah.
People we don't know, you know. And I learned
Mm.
that people just need some form of structure and some form of accountability.
Mm.
So people have been banned. So they've supported maybe some charities locally, and then the person goes and buys themselves a Mercedes and disappears. You know, so people need
Yeah.
to know what is the process. How does if I give of money, how is this money being used? You know, number
Yeah.
one. Number two, people also never thought that there's giving where you can give your time. You know,
Yes.
so it's not that it's yes, it's there, but it's a bit new.
Yeah.
And I've learned that wherever we have a mentor, they come, they give him their time mentoring. They eventually even turn up to be a financial donor.
Mm.
Because now they learn, they go to the program. So people,
Yeah.
you just need to have structures. You need to communicate to these people and update them what's happening. And you need to
Yeah.
have, you need to be ready to be asked questions. So if you're
Yeah.
asking, be ready to be asked questions that may be uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
But then be ready to be asked questions so that you can keep. Just remember, what is your end goal? What outcome do you want? You want more young people to be helped. So make it easier for this person to help. Very easy. And
Yeah.
make it easier for this person to stay on supporting the cause.
And also that speaks to credibility. How credible are you?
Yes.
Have people who have given to you, what are they saying about that?
Exactly. Yes.
And building credibility is not an easy task, because it's not built over a month or a year. It's something
True.
that keeps coming. You keep putting in the work to it.
Exactly.
And so from your story,
Mm-hmm.
people may hear you saying how your friends came through, how you are leveraging on online and online platforms,
Mm-hmm.
because I have seen you do Instagram lives during
Mm-hmm.
Giving Tuesday.
Yeah.
Um, and I have also seen some of the caliber of influencers that you have brought upon
Mm-hmm.
um, from Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And that is brilliant,
Mm-hmm.
leveraging, even as we evolve technologically, leveraging on that.
Mm-hmm.
But have you experienced any challenges? It could
Of
be,
course.
it has been a smooth sailing.
Of course. What is a world without challenges? Of course we have. I mean, this year was one of the biggest, one of the most challenging year that we've had. Last year we didn't raise a lot of money, so this year we've really been scraping off. We
Yeah.
actually had to close in May, in end of April, and
Mm.
to reopen in September, because we couldn't
Wow.
afford one cohort. We literally could not afford to have that cohort. So I think it's also very good to be transparent and vulnerable around things like that. And for me, I
Yeah.
think it was a very hard thing, because you do good work, you're creating impact, but then
There's value to
there's
what
value
you're
in what you're
doing.
doing. So one of the challenges definitely is, one is there's donor fatigue. When you're raising from individually, there's donor fatigue. So that
Yeah.
really hit us, because the same people you keep asking from, they're tired, definitely. I mean, I truly, truly appreciate those who still continue to support. The second thing, the cost of living and everything that's been happening in the world now is so crazy. So you
Yeah.
find that people don't even have for themselves. So how will they have to give? Non-financial challenges could be, I mean, that you see the 30 celebrities that have come, you don't see the 200 that said no or didn't pick up our
Mm.
calls or blue ticked us. So you don't see
Yeah.
that. So when we request, we normally request to so many people. So the ones you see are the ones who say yes. And it looks like, oh, all these people. But we have asked, we've
Glamorous.
gotten more no's than the yeses for sure.
Yeah.
We've even gotten people who say, yes, I'm coming on in any, at that time, maybe their phone dies, an emergency happens, or they even just don't pick up your call. So those
Mm.
are the challenges that happen. You've also definitely the challenges about young people that you take in. I've made this promise to people. I have taken these 20 people, but two have to leave the program because of
Yeah.
several reasons. So two stop coming. And yet
Mm.
I've done 2 months of their training. I can't get back that money for 2 months of their training. So these
Yeah.
are challenges to me, because then I'm reporting the numbers that are less maybe than the other numbers. Definitely fundraising challenges. We've gotten some institutional funding in terms of grants, but not really broken that, etc. And one of the challenges I know is because we really take in small numbers at a time. And for me,
Yeah.
I'm very, very particular about that, because I really do want to go deep and give real change. I don't want to
Mm.
just tick numbers for the sake of funding. I
Yeah.
don't want to just give and say, I will influence 50,000 children. And I'm not doing that. And that's the
Yeah.
one thing that I made a promise to us. Like, I know some people know how to write very good proposals and know how to write very good reports and very good and many evaluations, but maybe what exactly have you done? Have you really
Yeah.
impacted this person? So one of the challenges we face is that our numbers are smaller. Would like to grow, definitely. We are going to Eldoret. I'm going back to the village. We are starting
Yay.
in yes, we're doing a girls program in Eldoret from January, and now
Yeah.
that's what we are fundraising for this Giving Tuesday. And yeah, so for me, we'll continue maybe picking numbers that we can afford as we grow and go, but then making sure that we are really doing real impact. Yeah, so the challenges are many. I might not finish when I'm saying the challenges, but I've also learned, I think maybe I can share things that I've learned around the challenges. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing is that I used to get so emotionally involved in these young people that when someone drops out, I get hurt for real.
Mm.
And I have learned to know that I've done my best and let it go and let it be.
Yeah.
So that was my first lesson. I think the first 2 years I would really get stressed about it. Or sometimes you see
Mm.
someone's real potential and you can see how they're abusing the opportunity that they have, and then they
Yeah.
regret when this opportunity is not really available for them. I used to also get annoyed, and I'm like, people have given because of me. I have used my name to be given.
Yeah.
Why are you wasting these resources? But then I've learned, as long as I've done my best, as long as I'm honest in what I'm doing, it's okay. Another thing I've learned is that the relationships in terms of decision funding will take years to build, and I
Mm.
have to keep grinding,
Yeah.
to just keep going. And then I've just learned that, sometimes it's not the people you expect to get from are the ones that will give you. And so, long time ago, you think, but this is my friend. She has a budget. She has CSR budget. Why is she not giving?
Why is she not flagging me with the
Yeah, why is she not
opportunity?
plugging in? But also, you don't know what other factors behind them or what is going on. So I've learned to not take them personally, to take things personally. I've learned to just do my best and leave it at that. And that has
Yeah.
really helped my well-being.
Just put in like sort of boundaries to
Yes.
how far you need to go.
Yes. And I
Because at the
can't
end of
help
the day,
everyone.
yeah,
I can't help everyone. I've also learned, because as you go, these are the things that you learn to go. And sorry to interrupt you. When some people, when you're giving to them, they keep taking and taking more. And sometimes someone tells you, "Oh, I've not eaten," and they're lying, or "I've not done this, I've not done this." So just learning to have boundaries and to be sure, according to your strategy, this is our work. This is what we support you to do.
yeah,
The rest of the work is you're doing. We will give you this platform, this opportunity for you to do. So we cannot start doing 1, 2, 3 things that are beyond our mandate. And sometimes it was so hard for me to say no. And sometimes we've had to go beyond our mandate, because I remember, made me share this story. We lost one of the young people once in our program. That thing really shattered me. It shattered me because she was unwell. And I knew she was unwell, and I basically sent her to see a doctor. And I remember Humphrey bought the medicine, paid the doctor. I bought the medicine, because you can't use the program money for that. That's something out of the program. And so we gave her the medicine. The doctor saw her, and then she got admitted again to hospital. And we did this second time. Now we didn't know. By the time we were knowing, she had passed on, only to discover that she went to this public hospital and she was given medicine on an empty stomach, TB medication on an empty stomach. So this girl was actually needed food first before the medicine.
The medicine.
I was so guilty about that thing for a very long time, because I was like, oh, surely, what is food? I can get food. But then I had to forgive myself and said, this is what I was meant to give. I didn't know what was happening. But then again, now I also learned from that, and we started cooking at Good Kenyan so that they can have lunch. And that also people are giving. People give, like, from shags, people send us maize, beans, what we cook. So that then I don't want to know someone will never die because they didn't have food. Yeah. So just putting boundaries and making peace and forgiving yourself and giving yourself grace.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, that
I can imagine how hard that was.
Yeah, that was something else.
But looking at the brighter side of it, now you turned that into something else more impactful.
Yes.
Yeah. So good job for that. And
thank you.
As we're coming to a close, what advice would you give our listeners who aspire to become champions of change in their own communities? You see, you have said that you're going back to your home ground, to your home in Eldoret, know, and there are people who are in communities where they are wondering, how can I give back? How can I, or they see this is such a huge problem, I'm not able to give back. How can you advise them to go about giving back in their societies?
First, just give. First advice, just give. And I think one thing, my advice, and I don't know what other people have advised before, I'll say that give things that you also sort of enjoy, because sometimes then you'll be plugged in well and you'll do better. I love one-off gifts. Big one-off financial gifts are good, but I really love that community of someone who maybe gives periodically. Like a monthly giver is such an important person. Someone who volunteers and say, maybe I give you 2 hours every week, or maybe I give you 3 hours a month. Some systematic giving is very good. So I'm really a big champion on some form of systematic giving, whereby it really creates impact. And I'm not negating the fact that you can really change someone's life by one of minting, one of mentorship, one of give, one of financial aid. You can. That it has its place. But for me, I think I really would like to focus on a long-term giving. So choose something that is easy for you, something that you like, something that you're very passionate about, and give. Another thing is that even as I was starting Good Kenyan, I felt like, in fact, there are many times I would wake up myself from sleep and say, "You're mad. What do you think you're doing?" And I know I could see the fear in the eyes of my friends sometimes and my siblings. They look at me and and you might feel that way, but please don't. However small you think your give is, you do not know behind the curtain what that impact will do. So you could think, I'm just giving 1,000 shillings a month to Good Kenyan. Let me give an example. You do not know what that 1,000 shillings a month means. You understand? Literally, I can tell you tea leaves. So we have tea for the month.
That's
Isn't
sorted.
it?
You don't need to think about it.
Yeah, so I have someone who's been giving us 5,000 a month for a very long time. I can literally say what that goes to him. So systematic giving, don't ever think your give is small. However it is a huge impact to someone else. Don't be afraid to give back. Sometimes you feel like, if I can remember, I was like, who am I thinking that I can give? What do I have? I didn't even have my own life sorted out, But then I also learned that, to me, it gives me joy. It gives me really joy to give. I really like to see the eyes change of these young people that we serve, from the first day to the last day, the confidence. They come back and give me the results, their jobs, they're getting a new job, they're getting a promotion, they're passing in school, they're being leadership at the university. I love that. So I really do enjoy that, and I love giving. And it's a very selfish thing, because again, I am happy, I feel joyful, I feel purposeful. It's a good thing. So choose something and you will not regret it. What I'll tell you, you'll never regret giving. You will never regret giving. And don't ever say, if I give, this person must do 1, 2, 3 things. Sometimes they don't do. Like that young person you pay school fees for a relative or something, they might not do what you expected them to do. But imagine it's okay, you've given.
In Kenya we say tenda wema nenda zako.
Exactly.
Just be kind, do good, and move
do your
on.
bit and leave.
So and from what you're saying, it's speaking that the impact that you have continued to have over the years is what has kept you going. And I can hear it from your voice when they bring that results, those results slips and those job opportunities that they have gotten. So keep doing it, keep doing impacting the lives of young people. And we are coming to a close, but we have a new segment that was introduced, that is Ask the Host Anything. So we'll open it up to you.
Are you ready?
Am I ready though?
Are you sure? I think, what do I want to ask you? I want to ask you, is there a time that you didn't give and you felt you should have given and you felt guilty for not giving? And what was that?
Oh, wow. Ooh, okay. You just went in.
I asked if you're ready.
Yes, there is. And in Nairobi, there are, and previously I used to give so much, and I would having conversations with them, even in line way, probably they don't need that 20 shillings as much as they would need someone to ask them, how are you doing? And I would engage in that sense until there was an expose of how of how these people, they're actually in business. Some of them are in business, that took me aback, because I was like, what? All the people that have been, giving to, and seeing, actually being able to see that there's a child who's coming to ask me for food, and there's a woman seated somewhere waiting for them to come back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one time I think I had done a shopping or something. I had
Mm-hmm.
something in my bag,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy approached me, and what took me back was that expose, and I was like, no. But later on, as I was boarding the bus, I was like, oh, maybe he's not like
The
those ones,
one,
you
yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's a very thin line to know if you're doing impact or not. And especially when these exposés come up,
Mm-hmm.
it was very
It feels sad,
interesting and
yeah.
strange.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's my heart bleeds that
Mm-hmm.
people take advantage of
Is of that.
generosity in that
Yeah, they
sense,
do. A lot.
because now it impacts the next person.
Mm.
Because
It's
the
true.
next genuine person who comes to ask is like, are you sure?
Exactly.
Because we are all human beings at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm-hmm.
We'll look back and wonder, am I actually impacting, or is it
Mm-hmm.
someone who's using it for their own selfish
Mm-hmm.
benefit? So yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
that
thanks
was
for
deep.
sharing. I know, I'm deep like that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much, Lucy, for joining in. And
Mm.
maybe any last comments on your Giving Tuesday project for this year, or where can people find you at Good Kenyan?
Okay, thank you. So you can find us on all social media. We're at Good Kenyan, double N, because someone else had already registered Good Kenyan. If you're the one, please give us back our name. um, uh, we have a Giving Tuesday campaign this Tuesday, the next Tuesday, sorry, November 28th. And we are doing a few clips online, but we're really doing an event, an evening of game night at Two Grapes, Nairobi. It's on Kilimani, in Nairobi, where you can find the details where they are from our pages, where we'll have just a fun evening of doing good while having fun. Like you're having your drink, you're having your meal, but then you're playing games, you're having conversations with people and enjoying yourselves. We also have this segment where we call Give or Dare, whereby we have some celebrities that are coming up, and you will give for them to you'll give for them to do a dare. So if you
Oh
give them, they'll
wow,
do that there. So imagine if you want to see
that's
Collins
good.
Injera, if you want to see Kibunja, Humphrey even himself doing a dare, you give towards there on that day. So we'll have a link on giving. We'll have a link where you can give through, and you can participate online, or you can come to Grapes, meet me, meet everyone else who are more interesting than me, and have a good time. So please, karibuni on Tuesday to Grapes, Nairobi. And
Thank you.
thank you so
And
much, Beth, for this. This
this
was
this goes beyond the Giving Tuesday day itself. So giving to Good Kenyan is a continuous
yes,
process. Yeah.
yes, of course. Give every day, give your time, give a smile, give a hug, give everything. But thank you so much, Beth. It was wonderful
Karibu
talking to
sana.
you. Nice meeting you, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, and we hope that this has inspired you to become a giving champion in your own community and the networks that you are in. See you on to the next one. Please listen in and tell us, how are you giving in your own community? Thank you so much. See you on the next one. This was Ubuntu Giving Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.